is criminal defense attorney Josh Ritter, who is outside the Pima County Sheriff's Office. So, Josh, let's start with the latest piece of evidence or the latest chapter in this story. And that's the latest video from Savannah Guthrie posted within the last 20 minutes. What do you see in this video? What's new? What do you learn from the latest from Savannah?
Well, the first thing that strikes you is this is the first communication from Savannah or the Guthrie family directly to the public and not to the kidnappers. So she's taking this opportunity to plead to the public and not trying to communicate to the kidnappers. And then the other thing that stands out is her own words saying this is an hour of desperation. I think we're safe to read into this that they believe that they need help from the public because they have not sourced out any leads that have led to anywhere, and perhaps the communication from the kidnappers has cut off, or perhaps they don't feel that the kidnappers' notes are legitimate, or perhaps they feel that the further communication with the kidnappers is really not helping them. A lot of questions, like you said, still many unanswered, but this is certainly remarkable to me in that they are saying, essentially, we need your help because we're not getting it from the kidnappers in the cooperative way that we initially thought we might.
And in fact, Josh, she describes it literally as her hour of desperation. A lot of talk and a lot of focus there on the fact that she's now speaking directly to the public and not to the kidnappers. But there are also some different things in this video as opposed to just who she is talking to. There's a little bit here reading between the lines of who she's talking about as well. I would have to think in some way this is an indictment of local law enforcement, or at the very least disappointment or a lack of faith in their ability to handle this investigation if you're turning directly to the public for aid. And I don't know what this means, Josh, but I do think we have to point out this is the first video of just Savannah Guthrie and not her other two siblings.
That's very true. And it's also the first video that does not seem as heavily scripted as the prior two videos. Especially the one that we received over the weekend, the messaging in that seemed to be incredibly carefully curated, whereas this is her speaking from the heart. And you're right, she's not alone. It's just by herself. She's speaking directly to the public. As far as your note about is there a criticism of law enforcement in here, she does highlight that she feels that they're working tirelessly, but she's also highlighting that it seems as though they've come up with nothing. They've got no suspects, they've got no leads. And if you're at this point turning to the public and saying, share with us anything, no matter how small, no matter how far away you are from Tucson, we need anything, that is certainly a desperate hour.
And Josh, you point out that the previous videos were highly scripted. That would also suggest that there is some law enforcement coordination, some sense of choreography to how you play to kidnappers, how you play to those demanding a ransom. There has been this lingering question. Is this one crime or two separate crimes? Or better said, is this one perpetrator or two separate perpetrators? Is the ransom demand definitely connected to the kidnapping? And all of a sudden now Savannah Guthrie seems a little less choreographed, a little less scripted. I'm not sure what that tells us, but it's as though someone else is not standing over her shoulder telling her the right way to play this. Now it's simply, as you point out, Savannah going directly and authentically to the public.
You're absolutely right. I think the other thing that conclusion we can draw from this is that she doesn't seem as concerned with how the kidnappers, her captors, might be responding to this. In other words, the other messaging, she was very acknowledging what they were asking for, trying to be cooperative. Now she's not even addressing them and doesn't seem to care if they see this or not because they're turning to the public for help.
That's right. All right. Great analysis, as always, as you've been throughout this entirety of this case. Joshua Ritter, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.